Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, we're going to be creating this particular part of this particular dashboard. In the previous video, we have loaded the data in and we have even created this particular dashboard part right here. Okay, this is exactly what it is. If you want to follow me step by step and create something that's beautiful as what I have here right now, all you have to do is to make sure you download all the resources files we have actually used for this particular dashboard in order to have something as beautiful as this. So today, this is where we're going to be actually, starting from. If you have not watched my first or second video, it will be very important for you to actually watch them, for you to see exactly how we have done the transformation, reaching some DAX and stuff like that. It's something very simple. It's all about personal expenses. And over here is we're actually trying to track savings and balance. And I'm going to show you every single thing you need to know about this particular dashboard. So if you're ready, let us get into it. So we're going to pick this particular slicer, and for the time being, it's going to be in the middle of this particular part. So currently what we're going to do is to actually use this particular, closed tab column charts right here. So with the chart, we're just going to keep it somewhere around here for the time being, like this. And what we want to have here, based on the PDF you must have read in the previous video. So I think you must have it downloaded as well. Just go through it and see what we are going to get into. So for the time being now, we're just going to go with our savings rate. We already have a measure that calculated our savings rate for us, which is this particular one right here. I'm going to show you. So I believe you must have this particular measure. So here are two measures used in this particular savings rate. The first measure here is the net balance, and this one is the total income, right? So I'm going to show you how we got both of them created. So I'm going to push this one in here. Then let's go ahead and search for net balance here. In case you don't have this particular measure, this is the net balance, total income subtracted from that particular expenses. And that is it. So the next thing we have to do right now is to bring in our month. So if we go over here now, we can see we have the month here. So you might be thinking like, why don't we use some kind of line chart for this particular analysis? Oh, it's not bad if you use this. The reason why we are using this is that it's just because we want to some kind of use a target line on it. So it's a constant line that we can actually give a target to and see where we have met our target and where we are below the target with some kind of color scaling or conditional formatting rather. Okay, let's quickly go ahead and clean up this particular chart. As we are on the format area, the x-axis should actually be turned off, like turn the title off. Then you can crank up the value of the x-axis if you really want to. So I'm going to keep mine at 12, so you can do the same thing as well. So just keep this at 12. Now, it is time for me to go to the y-axis and turn off everything on the y-axis, both the values and the title. Once you have done this, you have to scroll all the way down. Then you can see where we have the reference line. Click on it. So as you have the reference line here, you have add line. Just click on the add line. And over here, choose the constant line. So we should have it now. We have the constant line below here. This is not beautiful enough. So what do we need? Then we have to plot in our targets. So what is the target value? Then if you have a measure sitting outside that actually spell out the target value, you can use it over here. Otherwise, you can just do 0.3. This is our 30%. Our 30% is found right here, right? But if this is going to be something that our boss will definitely use, or you're doing this for a client, you don't want that particular client or your boss to call you every single time to come and adjust something. You have to use a measure for this, right? Which means we can actually clear this one. Just have 0 right there. Then the line goes back to the bottom. I believe you can see the line here at the bottom part here. Then when we actually put 0.3, it gives us that particular, our 30%, and you see the line right here. So for the time being, we don't want to use this particular, style to get it done. We want to make it more dynamic. Just go to here and create a new measure for it. we can name this one target. So it's going to be equals 0.3. So remember, in Power BI DAX, you can't use 30%. This is going to be seen as a text. And if you look at it vividly, we already have an error at the bottom right here. So if you hover over it, it tells you unexpected expression percentage. This is actually not going to work. So use the decimal form of it. 0.3 is a 30%, right? So when your boss wants to increase it to 0.4, like 40% is going to be just 0.4, 50%, 60, 70, 80, 90. Then 1 is 100. I believe you understand this right now. So, on case, we're going to be using this particular one. So if I hit my enter key right now, we have already just created a measure. I think this measure was existing somewhere before. Okay, if I can't find it, just to differentiate it, just put 2 over here. So now what we can do now is to actually push the measure into this particular FX right here. Then we have to click on FX. Then over here, we just do targets. Click on OK. Now the line is here. Can you see it now? So this is something very cool. The next thing we have to do right now is to make sure we condition this. We're going to have 3 different conditions. Let us look at the first condition, what it's going to look like. The first condition is anything below. Anything below here that does not touch this particular line here is going to be highlighted in red. Anything that actually go above this particular line here would actually be highlighted in green. So anything that is actually maybe is neither below or above, but it's actually on a negative value, that's going to be a deep red. This is going to be a light red, and deep red. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Let's quickly go off from this view. So if I select a particular name, now we can actually see what I'm talking about here. This is going to be on a deep red. Anything from here will be on a deep red, while this particular one here, so this one will be on light red and on deep red. Then this one will be on light red because they did not meet up. This one will be green because they are above this particular line. Okay, the very first thing we have to do is to treat our line first. This line here shouldn't be this particular color. Let us go to that particular which is this one here. You can select a particular color that will actually pop out. Then this one looks better. You get it right now. So once we have this line now, the next thing we have to do is to write a particular measure for our conditional formatting. It's a new measure. So how do we name this? Let us name this one CF. Savings rate color, whatever. Just name it anything you like. So you can leave a comment here and tell what CF is all about. With just 2 dashes, just say CF means conditional. So CF means, so with the comment, you can actually say CF means conditional formatting, but we don't want to keep that. I'm just trying to show you that. So what I'm going to do right here, right now, is for you to find out what is actually here. So what is here now is savings rate based on the tooltip you're saying. Now I'm going to actually say, I want to create a variable here. This variable will be named rate. So equal, then we'll bring in the measure, savings rate. So once we have this right now, we can actually use the switch function or the if function to do this. Either of the 2 functions can actually get it done. So now we just have to say return. Under return here, we're going to actually ask if this underscore rate here is less than 0. If that is true, we want to actually say, give us this particular color. Then we're going to set this one into deep red. If it is less than 0, then we're going to say here, to do that, our hash, then the color code for deep red is actually B. Yeah, I think this is it. And put a comma right on it. Then the next one, I always love to leave comment here to tell what it is, deep red. Okay. The next one now is still going to be under if function again. So if underscore rate again, this time around, if it is less than 0.3. So the thing is this, don't always hand code what had already been made dynamic. This particular 0.3 already has a measure. Then let us remove this 0.3 underscore the measure we have. Sorry, with the square bracket, we just bring targets here. Then anytime the end users decide to actually change the number we have on this target or the percentage on this particular target to here, then it will automatically update here. But if you use 0.3 directly here, that has to be changed over here. You don't have to do that. Then what do we want to have once this happens? Then we want to actually have here some kind of light red. Then for light red, it's going to be FFB6. I think C1. Then we close. So what do we do? Light red. So otherwise, this one now don't have to use the if function again. Otherwise, give me green. Then for the green now is something like this. We just have to, I'm thinking of something. So there should be a closure. Oh, sorry, I know some kind of a comma right here before this. Otherwise, we're going to have error. Okay. So hash 3b 8 is 78. I think this should work. So we have two ifs opened. The first one has been closed. Then here we go. If I hit my enter key, this is exactly what you need to create. So try to look at it vividly and see what it is that we have done. It's something very easy. It's not complicated. You can just take a look at it and copy the same exact thing yourself. Okay. Now we need to use this on our chart, and it's going to change the color of our chart, and the story will be set straight. So where do we use this? That is a question. So don't forget the name is CF red color, CF savings red color. Then make sure the chart is selected. Now we have to go to column. So while we are in column, we have to click on the FX here. Then change it from this to the field value. Then CF. Here we go. Can you see it now? If you look at this now, this is the lighter version because this one did not meet up with the target that was set. Then this one that went above the target here is now using green because it's actually above the target. Then this particular very one here that is on a very deep red is because they are on minus a particular percentage. If we hover over it right now, you can see minus. Can you see now? Minus as well. So this is what we need to do right in here, and we have just done justification to that. The title here is not actually making any sense. So what do we do on the title? Just go over to the title here. Inside the title, it's going to be savings rate by month versus 30% targets. You see that now. So let us put this one at 16 or 17 looks quite okay. So this is what we have. You can just select the calm color. So there you go. You have something like this. So keep it around here for the time being. Okay. Right now, what we're going to do is to actually, create another version. So I'm going to copy this one and paste it down, then drag it over here. So right on this one, we just want to have balance. So let's go over here and take off this. Now we bring in balance here. Then the net balance to the y-axis. Then we don't want to use this particular color for the net balance. So we have to go ahead and take off the conditional formatting. It's not beautiful on it. So we go over here. We only have this. Now we need to create a different measure to actually get this particular condition made. So we'll create a new measure. On this one, we just need two colors. So we're just going to call this one CF balance equals. So you can do without using the variable because what we're about to do now is not complicated. So just use the if function here. So let us bring it down. So if balance, which is net balance here, if it is actually greater than 0, then we want to actually use the same thing we have used the other time. So over here is going to be #3. So #3 be 8. I think it's going to be A7, 8. Otherwise, go ahead and give me the. So we're going to do under hash again. Make sure it's correct 100%. Hash not $sign. So #B. This is it. Deep breath. All right. We can close and hit the enter key. Let's see what happens. So over here, we are not looking at percentage. So we're going to take off the line we have right here by scrolling all the way down here. The reference line should be, deleted from here. If you copy and paste, that's been removed. Now, once that is done, we go over to column names, the columns rather, and the FX here, we choose this and CF balance. We just have two colors. This one's going down. The remaining one, yeah, no problem. Okay. This is what we need to actually have right on this one. Then make these particular ones not too wide. And we're going to create one more chart here. So I can actually create the chart from the scratch, which is going to be this same kind of chart. And what we're going to have right here now is going to be the net balance again, the same net balance. Or still, we can just remove it and copy this one, paste it, then move it to this particular end here. So all we have to do on this one is just to go over here. Instead of the month, we choose the year that has 2 on it. So the reason why I'm choosing the one that has 2 on it is this. If I choose this particular year here, I have this particular, space between them. So let me show you quickly right here. So over here, as you can see, we have normal year, and this particular one is something I actually created separately. What I did there was to actually add just Y. So concatenate Y to it, and the Y will actually converted it into text. This one is number, this one is text. Look at the text. If I click on this one, it's giving us whole number. You get it right now. So that was how we can get it done. So let us go out and choose the one with this one here. So this one here shouldn't be this particular name. We have to change the name to match what we want. That is just going to be net balance by month. So we go over to here. Then on this particular one here, it's going to be by year. All right. So we've gotten them created. We are almost there. Then the next thing now is that we have to actually create a particular image right here. And that is going to be something very simple. But before we do that, we need to start creating our background in PowerPoint. That is something very important. At the end of the class, this is what we're going to be arriving at. Something as beautiful as what you can see right on your screen. All right. If you're interested in learning about Microsoft Excel and Power BI, learn how to create beautiful reports and dashboard in both Excel and Power BI, I have this particular course that will definitely help you to actually get started and become a data analyst. So if you're interested, I'm going to be giving you 95% discount from this particular course right here. So see you in the class. This is the previous, one we have created. So before we actually start with this, we have to create a sketch of how our dashboard should look. And that actually made me to actually get this created. So what you can see right here is 1, 2, 3. Those are 3 cards. Then plus this particular one here, the 4th one. This one is actually your sidebar that takes the image and some other KPIs. This one here takes, 3 KPIs. Those are where your 2 charts actually stays. You can actually read through what we have right in here. So the question is this: how can we actually, use this to create something that looks like this? So what we can do for the first time is to just go ahead and duplicate this one. This is the previous one we used inside our first video. Then we have to get this one used again. So I'm going to take off this from here. All right. Once I've done that now, the next thing I'm going to do, if you look at this now, can you see? This is what I've done here, just like that. So what I'm going to do now is just to make sure I highlight, all of them. To get that done, go over to Home. From Home, go to Selection and click on Select All. Then hold your Control key to select this particular one from here. So sometimes it will not work. What you can do now is to actually make sure you go to Format Shape. Where is that feature here? Do we have it? There is one particular feature we should have used. Oh, shape. Okay. Use the select object here. Don't say select all. Select object is what I'm looking for. Now, with the select object now, you can actually highlight the environment you want to select something from. Can you see it now? But before we do that, if you look at it, this one has actually been, affected. They want this one to come out more than this. So we just go down. This is the design we want. Then you can manually take it up. Something like this looks good. Now, go over here and select this particular select object. Then highlight. Now you're on selection. Right click now. Once you right click on it, what you need to do is just to go ahead and group them. They have been grouped. So once grouped now, we can actually go ahead and resize it this way. Something like this. So once resized, we can bring this one down a little bit. Okay, nicely done. Then there should be space here. This particular space is very, very important. That is going to be the space where we're going to actually have our title right on. Now we have to copy, maybe just pick up this particular one here, drag it down. So you can now fill it up to this particular end. Let there be a white space here. And this one should be filled to the top here, like this. Something like this looks cool. Then open it up. Now click over this one and drag it. So ensure a white space in between them. Then this one now should be taken down like this. Then the rounded corner shouldn't be too much. Just reduce it. We just want something a little bit rounded. Now we have to change the color to this one. The very first thing is to open up this particular fill and go over here. Then we're going to choose this particular color we have right here. Let me show you the color code in case you want to use the same color code. It's actually 44, 62, 80 for the RGB. Then for the hex code, you can see the hex code right here. Choose this particular hex code. And it's going to have the same exact thing. So once we've done that now, you can see we have some outline around it. So what we have to do is just to actually take it off. Then we have to go over to line, click on this one, go over to line, and we turn the line off. The line is gone. Okay, we have left something out, and that shouldn't be a big mistake we should have made. So duplicate this one here. Once you have done that, click back on this one and click on over here, then put it on white. So once you have done that, now we have to reduce this just like 1 inch and reduce this above here. So once you've done that now, we bring it and we keep it to actually give us this particular size. So you can actually zoom to take a look at what you're doing. It depends on what you really want. So now, another thing you can do is to actually step it away. And now you hold your control key to select both of them. Go over to shape format here. Go to align and your line center. Then go to align again and your line middle. Then once you've done that, just move both of them at the same time and you keep them on the right spot you want to actually have them right in. So something like this. You might not see too much changes on it. Just do Control P and you take a look at what you're going to have. Can you see how it looks right now? It's just like some kind of an outline surrounding it in white. So that is it. Okay, on this one now, it is time for you to actually create for this particular part. Let there be this particular white space here. Then stretch this to this end. Then duplicate it and bring this one down. So I think everything looks quite okay. So what I'm going to do now is just to actually delete this one. I'll keep this one here. Then the next thing I'm going to do now is to actually say, okay, I want to actually have an outline on this one. Then I'm going to make it smaller. Just reduce the height and the width. Then keep it here. Then go over to this particular part and stick off the shadow you have on it. Then if you just look at this now, we have to reduce it one more time. Okay, fine. Then hold your control key to select both of them. Go over to shape format, go to align and your line center, go to align and your line middle. Then you can now see what we have. The outline we have on it is not really cool. We just have to go over to here and we select something that looks better on it. So let's do one more time. We go with this one. So once I've gotten what we really wanted, the next thing we have to do is just to go ahead and select this one, and highlight this particular environment here. Then once you've done that, we can just go ahead and right click, then we'll click on group, have it grouped, then Ctrl D to duplicate it, and we move this one down here. All right. Then this one here, we just have to reduce it. So we're paving way for something different, which is the ear. Let's go back here. Can you see what we have now? The thing we don't have is this particular part I'm actually creating right now. We did not have it here. But for those ones, our work is actually good on it. So go back here now and get this one duplicated. Move it. So reduce this. Then double click on it to activate the inner one and drag it. So this is how it looks. All right. So once you have this now, you are almost good to go. The next thing we have to do right now is to go over to this particular one. Look at it. Make it some kind of curve a little bit and keep it somewhere around here. So we want to be on a button form. So we can always come back here and make an adjustment if that is what will work for us. So over here now, I'm going to choose a black color and no line. Let me show you the black color I'm using. So I'm using this particular black color here, 38, 38, 38 all through. Then you can choose to use the hex code as well. So this is what we have now. So this is what you need to actually create. The next thing we have to do is to go over here and we click on export it to using PNG. Let us export to where we want to have. Just this one. So once you've done that, we can step back in here and don't click on any of the charts. Just go ahead and actually click on canvas backgrounds. Click over here. So we are going to get it now. So I named this as team. I've grabbed it. Then push this at 0%. Then here you go. You have something like this. The next thing we have to do is just to make sure those ones here, they sit rightly the way it should be. So just adjust it. And as for this particular one, we just have to make sure we move them up a little bit. All right. So something like this looks quiet, okay? Then we just have to make sure manually we select it and reduce the size on this one. Then to create space for our title, then let's go over to this particular header style and look at the height, then look at the width. Then the height is 100, the weight is 240. So click over here and let's go with 100. Let's go here with 240. Then here we go. This particular one wouldn't actually be here any longer. We have to change our mind from going with this particular style to this particular drop-down style. So while we have the drop-down style, we just have to say no header. Then that is going to be no header. Then the next thing we have to do right now is to actually move it from here down to this particular part. Then if you look at it right now, it has some kind of background on it. We have to turn it off. Let's quickly go over here and turn off the background. Now, here you go. So if I click over here now, this is what I have. I don't want to have white as the background when I actually click on the drop down. All we have to do to fix that is to go over to this, click on it, highlight it. Then let's go over to this particular value part. Then once we are on the value part here, we just choose to see it on white. Then we can now go ahead and go to the background. Under the background here, you select something dark. Then if I now click, then I see something like this. So this is the first step we have to take. I told you we can readjust this when the time comes. So right now, this one is not sitting right here the way it should be. Then let's quickly go over to the background and take it off. Then we just have to align it properly right in here. Then somehow like this. Then we just push this in. So let us look at what we have done. Already, this is looking good. If I select a particular person from here right now, this is what we have. Then on this one, we have to do the same exact thing. Align it properly and make sure it's sitting rightly in here. Beautiful. Then on this particular one now, we just have to go ahead and, turn off the background. This one too, turn off the background. Then we have to adjust this one to fit it in. Okay, once we are cool with what we have, the next thing we have to do right now is to focus on the title we want to have right on this particular one. So let me just keep this one around here for now. So there are no titles. There must be title on there. So how do you do this? We just have to go over to Insert and we click on the text box we have right here. And inside here, we type in the title we want to have for it. So here is the title. Just highlight it and let's go ahead and use 14. Then once we have done that, we just want to make sure we resize it and we bring it over here. So go to 16. Then we turn the background off. So look at it. So just make sure it sits right. It's very important. So it's savings rate year to date versus 30% target. So now what do? You just have to make sure you cut this one off. Just Control C, Control V, and get this one right in here, right? So what we need to do on this one now is going to be last year, savings rates LY for last year to date versus 30%. So if you just make sure this particular last year is well understood to the end users, otherwise this is going to look weird, right? So just going to leave it as short as this. But the next thing I'm going to do right now is going to be getting another duplicate of it again. Control V. Then over here, we're going to do here to be savings growth. So now hold your Control key, select both of all the three, then go over to Format and go over to Align, and you align them to the top. So here we go. Then the next thing we need to do right now is to make sure this particular ones, they are well justified. So what I'm going to do now is just to manually go ahead and push this one right to this level here. Then here you go. We have nice things at the top. If I hover over here, what you can see is a default tooltip. This is not what you saw during the introductory part of this particular video. We have to do something much more better than this, which is creating a tooltip right on it. So how do we go about that? It's simple. Let's do it. Inside the tooltip we're going to be creating, this is what we're going to have in it. So the first one, we're going to be having a dynamic title. Then secondly, we're going to be having category, expenses, and percentage of grand total in a table form. Then we're going to cap everything up with some kind of conditional formatting to make it easy to read. Then the next one in the same tooltip is going to be spending type by expenses and the grand total. Then the beautiful thing among everything right here is that we want to actually highlight the spending types of every single category we have right in here. It is something you have seen, but you might not get the whole idea on how I got it created. Let me show you. So insert a new a new page rather. Then inside this particular page, go to this particular page information. Then from here, change from standard to tooltip. So close the page information. Now open up Canvas settings. Then we're going to use tooltip. No, we're not going to use tooltip rather. We're going to use custom. Then with the custom now, we can actually customize the height and the weight of this particular part. Then over here, we're going to choose 400 by 350. Oh, 350 is too much. Let us use 250. Let us do 400 by 250. Okay, nicely done. Then the next part now is optional. Go to this particular canvas background here. No, not here. This same place. Now you see vertical alignment. You might decide to leave it this way. I always love to centralize it, have it in the middle. Okay, once we have done this right now, it's somehow quick. Let's quickly go over here and now hover over here and see what happens. The problem we have right now is that we have not integrated it. Let's quickly go over here. Make sure this is actually clicked on. Then click over these properties. Then tooltip. Now from auto to this particular page. Then if I now hover over it, I see blank. It is time for me to populate our tooltip here. The very first thing we have to create here is going to be a table that carries our category. So let us bring in category here. So with the category here, we are going to bring in our expenses. then total expenses. I don't want to use a chart. I want to use a table. It's better. Now, with this particular one up, the next thing I'm going to do right now, if I click over here, I can see here I have total. I can remove the total from it. Remember, this wouldn't affect what we have right in here. So once you have done this now, we can readjust this and make sure it actually fills the container that we have. Let us now go over here and test it out to see what we have done. If I hover over this particular part right now, this is what I have. So I don't want to have something like this. There will be a problem in the long run. So to keep the video short, let me quickly show you an alternative way to get this done. So going back over here, instead of us to use this particular category from our main table, we rather use a different method. Go over here now and let us go ahead and create a new table here. On this particular new table, we are going to create category table. So equals. Then over here, we're going to use the all function. With the all function here, what the all function is looking for is either a table or a column. So in our own case, we're going to give it a column. The column now will be category from the fact table. So if I close and hit my enter key right now, it's going to give me all the categories available, right? So now I want to actually create the column for my wants. So that is going to be, sorry, my spending type. So if I actually do spending type right here and hit my enter key, I have the second column coming in as spending types. So this will actually make my conditional formatting very, very simple and easy, right? Okay. Now we need to add one more column. That column should be from here. So add a new column to it. This is the reason why we are actually creating this table. Otherwise, the first method would have been, okay, this will definitely give you the reason why we are doing this. So let's just call this one some kind of highlight. So equals. So on this particular highlight here, we are going to use the if function to say if the spending from the category table, we have spending type. If the spending type here is equals need, then I want you to give us this pipe here. Otherwise, still give us this same pipe again. You will see why we are doing this. So if I now hit my enter key, we're going to have something like this to highlight in our table. Okay. If I just go fresh and bring this new table I created in here, let's see what we're going to have. So we can just click over here, go to category, click on it here, and now we go over here. Sorry, it's going to be category table. We bring in the category. So because there is no relationship between the two tables, we now have the grand total repeating itself over and over again. Let's quickly go over here. And now we move our category table in here. So we can now connect the category from our fact table to the one we have right here. That's going to be one-to-many relationship. Can you see? Many to one. Depends on where you drag it from. So with this now, we would have fixed the issue of our relationships. Let's get back here. Now, 100% done. The next thing I'm going to have right here right now is going to be this particular highlight here. I'm going to have it above. then I have something that looks like this. You get it right now? So once I have this, the next thing I'm going to do is just to go ahead and take off the highlight and just put a dot right there. Then we can now manually shift this particular. Okay. Then next now is for me to actually turn off the total, the grand total from here. We turn it off. Okay. So the question you might have in mind right now is that what will this give us? Don't worry, you'll see why we are creating these particular highlights in no time. So if I hover over here now, you can see it. If you look at it, the category is a lot. So to make sense with this right now, we are looking at the top 10 savings rates by category, like the expenses, where this particular every expense is coming from, right? So let's do this. So this will definitely help us specifically when we hover over where we are below the target. We can now see what we are actually spending money on that is not making us to save a lot. You understand what I'm talking about right now? Then we don't want to look at everything because it's going to actually ask us to scroll. So we can't scroll on tooltip. Then the next thing we do now is to come over here and go over to this particular part. Then click over this particular category here. Then we choose to use the top n from here. Then we are going to choose 10. Just display 10. Now by what? By expenses. Then we drag in our total expenses into here. Then we apply. Beautiful, right? That is good. This time around, we have to drag this one down here and down like this. Then we copy and paste. Then we drag the copied one below here. Then we just move it down like this. Now, over here now, we need to change this particular one from category to type. That is spending type. So we have something like this. Can you see it now? Okay, we have one more measure that we need to create. And that measure is the percentage of grand total. So how do we get that done? It's simple. What we can do right now is to actually go over here inside our measure, right click and create a new measure. Then PCT, we can call it PCT, grand total equals. So over here now we're going to divide our total expenses. Then we divide that by what? We're going to be dividing that by our total expenses again, but this time around it's going to be the one we have removed filter from. Then what do? We can use all selected. I'm going to be making a video that explains all selected and all function. Maybe that will be in my next dashboard creation. I'm coming up with a particular dashboard about health, so that is where you can actually better understand it very well. So just stay tuned with me. So using all selected here, then we're going to actually use the table, which is the fact table here. Then close it. Right, I think I am missing something, I presume. So we are supposed to use calculate first. Calculate. The calculate to actually calculate our total expenses. Then comma. Then we now take a filter from what? From our fact table. Then we can now close. Then finally we close forward divide. Then this is going to give us our percentage of grand total. So once we have done this now, the next thing we have to do is to make sure we actually convert this one into a percentage. So maybe with just one decimal number. And once I hit my enter key, then here we go. So this has been dished out to this one. The next thing we have to do now is to click on this particular part here, and we bring it in. Okay, so we want to keep this in frame. What we need to do right now, maybe we have to work on our weight. Then we just have to go to this particular part here. Let us do 300 and see how it looks. That's going to be too much. So let us do 280. 280. 260 can be okay for me. Okay, we're going to go with 260. Then with the 260 now, we can actually expand this particular one here. Okay, I think what I'm feeling now is this. On this one, the top 10 should be released from this one. Release it. So you can see what you can use to clear it here. And again, category is no longer here. We just have to take it off. If you do the same thing with me, please just go ahead and do this. So now on this particular one now, we just have to click over here. Instead of us to show this particular percentage grand total here, we just show normal percentage like this. All right. So if you look at it now, we're not looking at everything here because it's some kind of with some bars. What we can do now is to reduce I don't want to increase this. So maybe the only solution is just to come over here and do 265. So it's something you can keep on adjusting until you are very much saturated with what you really want to have. So at this particular junction here, we just have to go over here and take it to 9. That is beautiful. Then once we've taken it to 9, then we can go to the header, and the header should be bold. We select the bold version of it. Okay. Now we do the same exact thing to this one, a bolder version of the font. So now we can go over here and take a look at what we have. So can you see it now? To highlight those particular pipes here right now, we are going to create a new measure for it. So let us call this one CF highlight equals. So quickly what we can do here now is to use the switch function. So I'm going to just say switch. And the switch function is going to switch, let's call this one I think it's selected value. Selected value here, then highlight. Then do you remember this particular category table? That was the table we created that has that particular highlight right on it. So I'm going to just do this. So put a comma on it. Then to make it easy to read, it's just for me to actually say, bring this one down. Then now bring this one down. So if it contains want, what we want to say is a particular conditional color for it. And the conditional color is going to be F59E. That is F59E0B. Right? So this should be yellow color. Just like the yellow we have in our background, in our background. Yes, of course. Then the next one again here, I can put a comma right here. Next one I want to have here now is going to be the need. So if we find need in the selected value, then we want to actually use a different color for it. This time around, let's go with some kind of, should we use red? I'm contemplating red or blue color. Okay, I can use any color at random now. Maybe later we can change it. So let us go with #2563EB. So can close and hit our enter key. Let's see if this one will work for us. I'm not really sure 100%, but I think we are on the main road to get it done. So CF highlight is the name. So click on the table here, and let's quickly go over to cell element. While we are on cell element, we just want to select this one that has dot on it. Can you see it now? That is for the pipe here. So we click on the background. It opens up this particular part. We choose the field. So we now choose CF. We just go for the highlighted one. Click on OK. It doesn't seem to work. Okay, I told you it might not work. I'm thinking of what could be done. So let's see CF highlights. CF highlights. I'm looking at what scenario could work here. Oh, sorry. The previous one ought to have worked. I've actually flubbed here. I shouldn't have used highlight. This is what we ought to have used. Take this off and let's go with spending type. Maybe somebody must have figured this out. Let me hit the enter key. This should actually work. Yes, it worked. So we're using blue and yellow. Okay, now if this worked, the next thing we have to do right now is that the color of the text as well can actually be changed to it if it affects it, but I'm not sure if it did affect it. Let's see. No, it does not reflect out. No problem. So let's go for this particular one here. And we do the same exact thing to it. Let's scroll down. While we are here, we click on the background color. Make sure this particular dot is selected. Let's go over here. So let's do CF, then the highlighted one. Now, here you go. You can now see every single need is highlighted here. Every single want is highlighted here. If we now go over to page 4, then we can hover over here to see what are we spending our money on that is making us know to actually have lots of savings. Those are the top 10 right in here. Can you see it now? This is making more sense than whatever you want to think of. Then, instead of you to just throw category right in here, spending type right in here, doing this will definitely make people to understand what needs and wants are inside category, right? So if we hover over here right now, we can now see, despite that we have a lot of savings, those are the top 10 expenses that did not affect our savings rate. Can you see it now? Then this looks cool. Let's get back to work. So over here now, we can decide to make this particular part much more better. So click on the header and let's scroll all the way down. The background here, we can choose something light. Then over here, I'm going to just stretch this out to fill up this particular part. Then click on this particular one here. Then we select the background color. We go with this same thing. Then we just stretch this particular one out. So what I'm going to do right now is to bring this down. Then make sure we bring this all the way down here. Then this particular top here should be for something very important. Then if we go back here right now, what we have here, we should turn on the data label. Then we have to increase the font size. So this pops a lot. Then this particular value here, when we hover over it, is not showing up. Then we want the savings rate to actually show up right in here. Then we can go back here now. Then insert, go over to text box. Then the savings rate will be somewhere around here. No background should be allowed for it. So we turn off the background. Then we're going to bring up the savings rate itself. Then we have to turn off every single thing, but the background here, we have to go over to the category label and turn it off. Now we have to make it a bit smaller. Let's go with 20. If we go back here, and hover over this now. So here the savings rate shows quickly. Can you see? It changes based on whatever month we actually highlighted on. So right now, if I actually make any selection from here, before we start creating, let us go back here for you to understand what I'm talking about. If you look at it right now, John is actually, selected from here. So right now, if I hover over maybe June or July here. So we want to see the July that is selected and the name of the person selected from here. You get it right now. So let us quickly go over to the tooltip area. And now we have to create a new measure. Just call this one title for tooltip. So what we can do is to actually use variable to store in the month. So equals selected value month from our calendar table. Then, and that variable, this one actually be the person selected. So selected value, then name from image. So we have name. Depends on what you have yours named. So once we have done this right now, we can return this. Under the return, this is where we have to craft how we want this to actually, look like. So it depends on the kind of, thing you want to appear once it's actually on a hover. So let me actually on the comment, I'm gonna be doing something like John expenses detail in June. If June is what is actually selected, this is what I want to see. Then how do we craft this and make it dynamic? That is something very important. Okay, let us use if function. So we're going to say if underscore months here. No, I think it's going to be person here is not blank. So if it is not blank, what do you want now? So if it is not blank now, we're going to say underscore person again. That is, we are measuring the name, which is just this one. Then we'll concatenate to it space expenses detail. In, then close this and under concatenation. Then we actually bring in months. Then let's just go ahead and so we have a tooltip that has this name before, maybe from our previous class. So let's call this one title category tooltip. So now what do? We can search for it. Title category tooltip is here. Let us make sure we actually push it in here. So what we're going to say is nothing but blank, but don't panic. It's okay. It's working. Take your time to adjust it. All right, so let's quickly go ahead and turn off the category label. Over here, we're going to put this at 16. Beautiful. Or let's go with 15. Once we have done that, we can go over to size and style we go to the background and we change the color of the background to something else. We want to go with something that looks calm. Let's go with something like this. So now we can go ahead and take a look at what we have done. So if I hover over it now, John expenses detail in June. Can you see now? Let us select a different person, like this Jack here. Let's see what happens. So what happens when there is no selection? So we want to make sure there is always selection. So what do we do to actually condition that? Click on this thing here, and let's go over to slider settings, then go to selection and single selection. That is going to make you to have a forceful selection, which means there must be selection always. You understand? This is exactly what it is. Whenever I hover over this right now, this is what I actually have. Mary expenses detail in May. Then you can read through this. So, but this is not really giving us something, that make a lot of sense. Why? Let's go over here. If you look at this now, this one is actually top 10. Then what do? We can change this by clicking on the table. Then we come over here. Then over here, we just do top 10 category. Can you see it now? Nicely done. Top 10 category. Then it should have been categories, not category, top 10 categories. Let's see if that will work. Let's quickly go ahead and, because it will work, but I just don't want to extend beyond here. So I'm going to double click on this one. And okay, once that is done, you just have to come over to here and adjust this particular one a little bit. That is better. So if I now go over here now, we now have it to make a lot of sense. So now we have top 10 categories. Everything here looks perfectly okay. This is how you can actually create a dynamic tooltip that make a lot of sense. So whoever comes right here right now can now see the top 10 categories that this particular Mary is spending money on based on wants and on need. Then if we now hover over here, it's not giving us what they have spent or what this particular person had spent money on that made her not to have lots of savings. So what about this? It is time to bring the image of the person who is actually selected from here. So what do? Let's go over to this particular part, and you can see here I have simple image. If you do not have simple image, it's not a default visual. Just go over here and go to get more visual and just type in this particular name that appeared right here, simple image, and you're going to get it. So if still you don't have an account and you can't create an account and you want it from me, just go ahead and actually comment or give me your PBIX. I'm going to send my PBIX that contains this particular one for you, right? So now I'm going to click on this one here. And the next thing I'm going to do is to go over to image and bring in the image into it. So this is actually the image of the person selected. If I change it to maybe Ella here, then this is what we have. So quickly what we need to do now on this is to go over straight up to this particular part, then we turn off the background from it. So we have something like this here. So the question is this, does this alone make sense? No, we're going to do something. Then quickly let us go ahead and copy this particular text box from here. Control C, Control V. Then bring this over here and call this one select. So I'm going to put a color on it. Let's make it this bright. So now you can just choose to use 14. I'm going to make it italic. Then I have my favorite font for something like this. So here we go. Okay, now what we want to have here is savings rate.
And if I go over here now, so savings rate is this particular one here in percentage. You already have it, and I believe you have it already. I've shown you before now. Then quickly, we just have to go ahead and have this formatted. So we're going to put this on 20 and see. Okay, let's do 25. Nicely done. Once we have done this now, this is good. It's going to live at the top here. So bring this one and make it stay at the top here. Then go over to the background and turn off the background. Then the value should actually be worked on. So we want to select this color for the value. Then for the category label, we choose this. Okay, almost there, but not actually there. So there is something we want to actually work on right now. That is going to be we picking up this particular chart here. This particular chart here. Then we want to actually still bring in savings rates into it. So if you look at it right now, we have our savings rate right here, but it's not making any sense yet. So what do we do to this? We have to create another measure. And what that measure is going to actually do is to actually subtract the percentage, which is 29% from 100%. That will give us something very good. Let's do it. Right click over here, the new measure. So we have a remainder. We just actually say 1 subtract from savings rate, not the growth one. Savings rate, this, then hit the enter key. So what I'm going to do right now is to just push this one in here. So can you see it now? So we can format this to make it look better, but we don't want to display it, but we can actually format this to see what is the percentage shown to us over here. So it's 70.79%. Add it up to this particular one, it gives you 100. Then let's quickly go over to formatting area. And now we can select the slice. Then let's quickly go over to here first. So this time around, we want to pick up this particular color we have right here. This particular color here. So just go over here. You already have it if you have created with me before now. So we just have to copy the same color. Then let's quickly go over to color. And now we select what we want. This particular savings rate here should actually capture this very color I just copied right now. This is it. So once we have it now, the next thing we have to do is to go over to the remainder here and we select a color that will faint into the background that we have. So let us quickly go back and take a look at it if it will work for us. So now we just have to come over here, no legend. So if this pops, just have this hidden. Now, no legend, and the background color should be hidden. Once you've done that, go ahead and turn off the title as well. No title. Then no data label. Then we have something like this. Okay, so what we want to aim for is this particular kind of color. Let's quickly go back here and pick the color from here, which is this particular color. So I'm going to pick the color using the more color, then copy the hex code from here like this, or you can copy the RGB if that is what you want. So coming back here right now, we just have to go to slices. Then over here, we paste in the same exact color. But this time around, we select a lighter version. Something like this looks perfectly okay for me, right? Just a mere lighter version of it. So once we have gotten this done now, we just have to make sure we bring it over here, right? But before then, let us just make sure this one here is coming to behind. Okay, bring to front, bring to front, bring to front. Okay, and make it smaller a little bit. Then for now, bring it down. Then let us focus on this one. We actually settle this one where it's going to actually fit it. Then once we have done that, we just have to go to slices here, open it up, scroll down, and over here, click on spacing. Then scroll all the way down and reduce the spacing. like this. So with that spacing now, we can come over here and click on this one and make sure this one is actually in the middle of the circle we have right here. So what about this? Something like this looks cool. Select a different person. Can you see it now? Can you see that? This is exactly what you have. So make sure this particular color matches the color you have right here. So let's go ahead and update it. So click on the color here, then click over here and select this very color. So here we go. Okay. Right now, this is something good. The next thing we have to do right now is to show other 3 KPIs here. We're going to be showing the total income, total expenses, and the net balance. So what I'm going to do is to copy this very one, then Ctrl V to paste it down. Then keep it right here. And let's quickly go ahead and take this one off. Then we just type in total income. Then once we have this over here, I can actually change the formatting by going over to here. Display unit should be none. Then for the color, I want to change the color to something brighter. Let's choose this particular one here. Okay, so I might want to make it a bit smaller. Let's go with 22. So once we've done this now, the next thing we have to do is to go ahead and copy and paste it down. Copy, paste it down. So hold your Control key to select the 3 of them. Then now go over to Format. Go to Align. Align to the middle. Oh, no, center. Control Z. We align center. Now, that actually justifies it vertically. Good and fine. Now we have to individually change it. So this one now should be expenses. Change to expenses. Now this is the balance. Net balance. So now we have successfully built this 100%. So click on this one here and make sure you go over here and turn on the data label for it. Then we have to select a bolder font type to use on it. Let's scroll the way down here and we just select this bolder one. No, not this one, not this one. This is too much. Let's go with this. So do the same thing to this particular one here. Data label turned on. Scroll the way down. Now the color should be changed. How do we change the color? We want to match the color to this particular color we have right here. And it's always easy. If you can't remember your color code, always come here and copy it so that you can actually be on the same page with me. Then you're going to have a very beautiful dashboard. So what I'm going to do right now is to actually locate the color, go over to these particular columns, scroll down, then choose to have this color. So please look at this. I can go to my previous dashboard here and copy this. Then over here is going to be a different name though, but this will work. So paste it over here, then move it from where it is right now down to here. Once we have it here, just have to highlight it and type in savings and balance tracker. So you might want to highlight this one and bold it. So just save it. So this is how you can actually create something that looks just like what you have on your screen right now. This is absolutely dynamic, and this can actually help you to, make your dashboard on your portfolio to look very catchy, to capture attention of, maybe employers or prospective clients. Depends, right? So if you look at it now, something is happening. This one here, look at how it is showing. Sorry, let me just take it back. So look at this. The numbers we have on this one here is not really cool. Let's quickly go back here and format it. Go to data label. Once you're there, scroll all the way down, then go down to value. Once you're on value, you have to go over to this particular part. You can say none, then to display the whole number for you. So this is what you need to know how to create.